Hey, it's me, MLB. Here is a very cute little fluffy one-shot for Yamaguchi titled Timid Confessions. Enjoy. He's looking at you again, your friend hissed at you. Shh! No, he's not, you squeaked as you pulled your scarf up more, burying your neck and lower half of your embarrassed face down to the soft, warm wool. I am telling you, he likes you. Why would you believe me? She huffed in a whisper. You had developed a massive crush on the shy and quiet Karasuno volleyballer and had regretfully told your friend about it. She had now taken it upon her great self to point out whenever he looked at you, and according to her, he looked at you a lot. The two of you were sitting undercover, watching the boys play volleyball on the outside court in the stiffly cool weather, and you shivered again as another round of icy cold wind blasted you from the right. As if he likes me, he's probably just looking at me because I look weird, you said through the woolen scarf wrapped around your neck as you stared into your lap. Sorry, I didn't hear what you said, your friend replied bluntly. But if you just asked me if I thought it would be a good idea for you to confess to him, then I'd definitely say yes. That's not what I said, he replied, pulling the scarf down a little and looking at her. Oh look, he's looking over here again, she said with a devious chuckle as she looked past you to the boys on the court. You quickly yanked the scarf back up and hesitantly glanced at him. He was indeed looking your way, and the minute you two made eye contact, you both hurriedly looked away, both your faces going a slightly different shade of red. Oi! Yamaguchi! You good? Tanaka called from across the other side of the court to your love interest. The shy boy nodded furiously and fiddled with the ball in hand. Don't get distracted, yeah? The loud, shaved-headed teammate called. This just made Yamaguchi blush harder. Oh gosh, I've just embarrassed him, you wailed as you buried your face deeper into the scarf and scrunched your eyes closed. Your friend chuckled quietly beside you. She could see the interest between you two, and she was determined to see something more happen. Hey, you want to come with me to the boys' volleyball game this weekend? It's against Aobajasai, she commented casually. Your eyes shot from Yamaguchi to her. Yes! Oh, wait, but I don't have any money, you said sadly, as you realised your poor student plight. That's okay, she said calmly. I'll pay for your ticket. On one condition. You swallowed nervously. What's the condition? You asked dubiously with a bit of fear. You have to write Yamaguchi a confession letter and give it to him at the end of the game, she said casually, as if this wasn't the single most terrifying thing that you had ever heard in your life. A confession letter? You squeaked nervously. I can't do that. Oh, well, won't see you at the game this weekend then, will I? She said with an exaggeratedly sad sigh. You moaned pitifully, weighing up your options. Yes, you definitely wanted to see your crush play in the big-time game, but confess? Was it worth it? You sighed and hung your head. I'll leave it with you then, your friend said cheerfully as she got up and skipped off to the drink station. You watched her go, then looked back at Yamaguchi. He was looking at you again, so you quickly looked back down at your hands in your lap. Oh, I guess it will make me decide what to do. If he likes me back, then yay. If he rejects me, then I guess I'll move on. Well, try to, anyway. That night, you sat down at your desk and pulled out a piece of writing paper and a pen. You poised the pen above the paper and thought about how to start your letter. How do you start a confession letter? Scrunching your brows, you tried to think of a few lines that were the most important to put in. To my crush, you wrote, then immediately scribbled it out. No, definitely not. Tapping the pen on your pursed lips, you thought for a bit, then tried again. To Yamaguchi-kun, I love you. At reading that line, you screeched and covered your face while continuing to scream your embarrassment. No, 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 you wailed internally as you shook your head. After several more failed attempts, you finally wrote something that didn't cause you to implode internally too much. To Yamaguchi-kun, please forgive me for intruding like this, but there's something I've been meaning to tell you for a while. Over the past year, I've developed feelings for you. I think you're very cool and cute. I just wanted to tell you that. It would be really nice if you felt the same way about me too, but it's okay if you don't like me like that. I just hope that this makes you happy, knowing that someone likes you, and maybe we could be friends. From Yin. You breathed out a heavy sigh and folded the note neatly, walking over and placing it in your school bag. That weekend you met your friend at the doors to the auditorium that the volleyball match between Karasuno and Aoba Josai was going to be taking place. "You got the note?" your friend asked, glancing around and just looking suspicious in general. You nodded sheepishly and pulled it out of your bag, handing it to her. "Good," she said with a smirk. "I'll happily pay for you to watch your lover boy," she said, poking her tongue out slightly and winking at you. Your heart raced madly, and you followed her to the ticket gate, half of you regretting having to do this, but the other half dying to just get this over and done with. Upon getting inside, you and your friend posted up in the stands and the game started. Yamaguchi was on the sidelines, so you missed most of the first half of the game because you were leaning forwards and over the rails looking down at him. You heard the coach call his name, and Yamaguchi got up and walked over to him. A short exchange happened between them before Yamaguchi smiled and nodded happily, then turned and waited to be called onto the court. "Oh, look, your man is up," your friend said as she nudged your arm. Of course, you already read the situation and knew he was being called in. You were ready to watch him in action. Yamaguchi walked over to the server's spot, and you held your breath as he took a ball from one of his teammates and tossed it into the air. He whacked it with the palm of his hand, and it sailed to the other side of the court, only just landing inside the boundary line on the other side. The Karasuno boys erupted in a bout of loud cheering and raced over to Yamaguchi to congratulate him. Before you realised it, you too were screaming in celebration from where you sat in the stands. After everyone calmed down a bit, the game resumed, and Yamaguchi hit another ace shot, scoring another point off his serve. Naturally, you screamed and clapped excitedly for him again. Then it was his last time to serve, and you held your breath. He was steadying his breathing when you suddenly called his name. "You can do it, Yamaguchi!" you called loudly, then almost immediately clapped your hand over your mouth in shock. "Did I just scream that out loud?" you wailed internally. Yamaguchi's head whipped up, staring in your direction, his eyes widening when he realised that you were there and you were the one who had called out. You shrank down in your seat, trying to hide, but he reassured you by giving you a little nervous wave before refocusing on the game. He served and hit the ball perfectly, giving his team another round of points. You jumped up and screamed when you realised that he had done it again, and he looked up at you and beamed brightly. "Go!" your friend hissed as she shoved you lightly from behind a little later after the game had finished. "Quick, before he leaves!" It was now after the game, and your time had come. Naturally, you were sweating bullets as you stood in the hall, watching the Karasuno team walk down the corridor to the front of the stadium. You stumbled forwards and called out to Yamaguchi in a trembling voice. He froze on the spot and turned when he heard your feeble call. You looked at the ground quickly. Can I please talk to you for a second?" you asked timidly, holding your note in hand. A few of the boys on the team smirked and sniggered, patting Yamaguchi on the back and whispering things in his ear as they walked past him and out the front doors to the waiting bus. They knew what you wanted to talk to him about. Your friend had backed back and hidden herself too. Instantly, you two were alone in the hallway. You started to say as your bottom lip trembled. Yamaguchi stayed quiet and stared at the floor nervously. Unable to speak, you just stepped forward and placed the folded note in his hand before stepping back again. Yamaguchi opened the note slowly and read it while you stood there, heart pounding, vision blurred with the adrenaline. It felt like ages. He hadn't replied yet. You squeezed your eyes shut, intending to turn and flee, accepting your rejection, when suddenly he spoke. "Yes," he said softly. You looked up at him, tears pricking your eyes. Sorry?" you whispered. "Yes," he said a little louder, looking at you. I like you too, Yin, a lot. You're beautiful, and I was so happy to see you at the game here today, cheering for me." You almost passed out and covered your mouth with your hands. He smiled gently at you. Would you be my girlfriend?" You burst into happy tears and he stepped forward and hugged you. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to make you cry, he said sadly. "No," you sniffed. "I'm really happy. Yes, of course I'd love to be your girlfriend." Oh, bless Yamaguchi. He's such a sweet bean. Thank you for listening. I'll see you tomorrow in the next one shot, a Shoto Todoroki x Yin, but as Aizawa's daughter. See you then.